if someone's going to disrespect you, like say someone steps on your shoes and they don't apologize for it, well, you're not going to do anything.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to our brand new podcast, Risky Diction. That's what we calling it. Don't ask what it means. You're just going to have to accept it. It's Risky Diction. All right, so let me introduce myself. This is my channel. My name is Gio or Giovanni. We got Jay over here. This is my cousin.
How you doing?
He aspires to one day have his own biker club. You know what I'm saying?
Motorcycle club.
Sorry, motorcycle club, not biker club. I didn't get the terminology right. So I figured, like, in honor of that, the first thing that I want to talk about is motorcycle clubs. We were having a bit of a discussion earlier today, and I was like, why don't we just like save it, you know, for the video? So first off, why don't you just let us kind of know, because like you already talked to me a little bit about it. Let's talk to the camera and kind of tell the people what your goal is, what your ideals are, like all that good stuff.
About brotherhood and camaraderie, man.
Okay, meaning what?
It's knowing that the person next to you will die for you and have your back no matter what. Whether if you're in the right or the wrong, you know, you always got each other's back.
Okay. So when you say when you're in the right or in the wrong, like what do you mean by that?
Say if me and you got into a fight.
Like you and I are fighting each other?
Yeah, say if me and you got into a fight,
okay,
and I started it. My brothers in my club would have my back no matter what. They would jump in that fight. Because you mess with one, you mess with all. It's a brotherhood. So you mess with one, you mess with all, and everyone's got each other's back.
Okay. So what if you're winning the fight?
It doesn't matter. You mess with one, you mess with all.
So like I'm just supposed to get jumped, even though if you're already beating me up, your guys are supposed to jump me and beat me up even worse?
I mean, hey, that's how the brotherhood is. If you get into a fight, you back your brother up no matter what.
Now,
it's like the military. You have each other's back.
Now, comparing that to the military is crazy, but
because that's where motorcycle clubs started, from veterans coming back from war, and they have that adrenaline, and they want to sustain it when they get out of the service.
Okay.
Most of the well-known motorcycle clubs came out of World War II. Hell's Angels came out of World War II. They were named after a bomb squad in World War II called the Hell's Angels, and that's where they got their name from, and that's where most motorcycle clubs come from, is a military background.
Okay. I didn't know that. We had talked about, you were saying how you had asked me, you were like, would I want to join the club, right?
Yeah.
And I said, sure, why not, right? And you said, tell the camera what you asked me when I said, sure, I'll do it. What did you ask me, am I okay with? Or what would I do in this certain scenario?
I said, if one of the members got into a fight, would you back them up?
Right, and I said that, basically I said no, but to be more detailed with my thinking and my realm of thought is that if someone were to, okay, say you're having a one-on-one, I believe in a fair one-on-one fight, right? No weapons involved, no nothing, right? A fair one-on-one fight. If you got a problem with somebody and it absolutely has to escalate to violence, because violence is the last option in my opinion, but if it absolutely has to escalate to violence, there's no other option. I think it should be a fair one-on-one with nobody should get in the way of it unless someone is very clearly not able to fight back and they're getting very hurt. You know, if two people are both standing and able to fight, you know, I think that's fair. I'm not going to jump in unless it's to break people up, right? I'm not going to jump in unless it's like, yo, like my cousin's getting beat up real bad and I got to help him out, right? Now, if someone comes up and starts something with, say, Jay right here, right? And they start something with him and they're whooping him and they're just dogging on him and he didn't start it, but they started it. I would help him defend himself against that person, right? I would defend him against that person. But I'm not going to beat the crap out of that person for no reason. Especially not if he starts it. If he starts the problem and he's getting his butt whooped because of a problem that he started, then the best I'm gonna do is help him from getting his butt whooped by separating them and having everybody go their separate ways. But I'm not about to beat somebody up on your behalf just because you wanted to start a problem with somebody. You get what I'm saying?
See, that's the thing. That's the thing about the lifestyle. You gotta follow your brothers with blind loyalty. You gotta do whatever you can to protect, to like help them out.
But I feel like that has to come from some sort of that has to be earned. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, we're cousins, so it makes more sense coming from you and I. But if you expect some random dude off the street to risk their life for you, to risk their freedom for you, that makes no sense to me.
That's the thing. That's why we have a thing in place called prospecting.
Mm-hmm.
Prospecting is basically where a person wants to join, and they have to go through a phase called prospecting period. Prospecting, basically, you're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Okay.
That's showing that that prospecting period is proving yourself, showing your loyalty, showing that you're willing to do anything for the club. It could either be going to get food for someone, 2 o'clock in the morning, going to doing anything that a full patch member tells them to do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of clubs will say they won't ask prospects to do something that they wouldn't do themselves. That's what some clubs preach.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's true or not. I can't speak on other clubs. I can only speak on what I've heard, what I've seen, and what my club is going to be.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me ask you this real quick. So, in order to start a club, you have to get the blessing from, you said, the 1%?
Yeah. There's family clubs, otherwise known as 99% clubs. Some people call them 99, but some people call them family clubs. 1% term came from the American Motorcycle Association, the AMA. And it's saying that 99% of clubs are law-abiding citizens. There's always that 1% that is not that way.
Right.
That's where the term 1%er came from. 1%ers basically have their own rules they follow. They don't care about government rules. They have their own rules they want to follow. They don't care what the government says.
Mm-hmm.
Some clubs, for example, Hells Angels, Mongols, Pagans, Warlocks, Outlaws, Vagos, clubs like that. Those are the 1%ers.
Okay, so they commit crimes.
Allegedly, yes.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to speak on other clubs as a whole, but from what I've heard and what I've seen, clubs as a whole, they don't do illegal stuff, but there are members individually within that club that do illegal shit.
Okay.
But don't quote me on that, because I can't speak on what other clubs have done, because that's not my place.
Yeah, it's all allegedly.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
But to start up a motorcycle club, you need to have the blessing from the 1%, the dominant 1% motorcycle club in your state.
Okay.
That can vary from state to state.
But my biggest question is, how do you know? I mean, you might not know, but do you know what exactly are those motorcycle clubs looking for? Like, what would make them say, nah, get out my face? And what would make them say, yeah, sure, go ahead and start it? You know, what's that differentiating factor, you know?
That's a good question.
You're not really sure?
What they're looking for, I can't speak on that because I'm not in the 1% club.
Mm-hmm.
But I've talked to people that are in non-1% MCs, because when I was younger, I needed to know these things. Ever since I was 13, I wanted to start up my own motorcycle club. Mm-hmm. So I've been doing research ever since I was 13 years old to start up my own.
Okay.
There's one of my friend's dad, he was in a motorcycle club in Pennsylvania. I'm not going to say the name of the club.
Right.
I'm not going to put his business out there. He told me that they either go to the dominant 1% MC in the state, Or you could also go to the COC. You need at least five people to start up a club. So once you have that, you go to the dominant 1% MC in your state. You can go to one of their events, make sure you're respectful, shake everyone's hand. Doesn't matter if they're a prospect, full patch, doesn't matter. If they got a patch on their back, doesn't matter if it's a full or a prospect, shake their hand, respect them, and treat them right.
Allegedly, what happens if... All right, we're back. We had to take a quick little intermission because some people came into the little area there, so we moved it outside onto the roof. Okay, so the question I was about to ask you before we cut it was, say you start a motorcycle club and the 1%ers didn't give you approval. What might happen then?
Well, you got a few options. You could either start it without their blessing, which would not be a good idea.
Okay.
There's only one club I know of that didn't get their blessing. And to my knowledge, what I've heard is that they have law enforcement in their club, and that's how they're still doing stuff.
Okay.
I'm not going to say the name of the club. That's their business. I'm not going to say the name of the club. I don't know anyone in the club.
Right.
I've just heard things from credible sources.
Is this a club in our state? Or no?
They are in the state. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're in other states as well. They're a multi-state club.
This club with the law enforcement.
That's what people are saying. I'm not going to quote on what.
Allegedly.
Yeah, I'm just going to. People say that there is law enforcement in this club.
Okay.
And that's how they got away without the blessing. There is there's one 1% MC that's very well known. They were founded in Maryland. That state we're in. There's also another club in Maryland that you could possibly go to. That's a very big club in the country and in the world. Those are the only two solutions. Those are the only two clubs that I think I would go to for the blessing in Maryland.
So let's move on a little bit from the motorcycle club stuff.
Okay.
We had also got into a little bit of a difference in opinion earlier that we never really fully fleshed out, I don't think. You have a strong belief, this does tie into what you said earlier about your motorcycle club, but you have a strong belief that when you are in a fight, right, if there's any form of disrespect being thrown your way, that is grounds to fight. So talk about that. Like, what does it take for you to say, okay, it's acceptable to fight somebody?
Any kind of disrespect, it all depends. Like, say if someone took someone's cut, their vest, then that's definitely grounds for getting it on with someone.
Okay.
Disrespecting the club, all depends. Disrespecting can be in many ways, and then you just gotta handle it however you want to handle it. Some clubs, they might handle it, say, yeah, it's no big deal, it just goes right off their back. Some clubs, they'll take it serious, and they'll handle business right on the spot.
Okay.
So it all depends on what the disrespect is.
Okay. So, not motorcycle club, though, just you.
No.
You're just walking around on the street, some guy says something slick to you, you punching him? What's happening?
Depends on the circumstances.
Alright, me and you, we don't know each other, okay? You're walking down the street with your girlfriend, and I'm like, what's up, cutie? What are you doing?
To me or my girlfriend?
Not to you, to your girlfriend. What are you doing?
Probably tell you don't do it again, and if you did it again, I'd probably handle it.
Okay, so I handle it. What does that mean? What if I'm like, shut your mouth, and call her a cutie again? What you gonna do?
Then we're gonna throw hands.
We're gonna throw hands?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I asked is because, in my opinion, I don't think you should fight somebody over words. And I know, like, people say that all the time, like it's like cliche, whatever, this, that, the third. But I truly don't believe. I feel like fighting somebody over words is something that you do when you're a child, when you don't know any better. Once you get to a certain maturity level, in my opinion, I'm like, I don't need to fight somebody over words. If somebody says something to my girlfriend, I'm gonna be like, first of all, I'm gonna be like, bro, that, like, chill out. Like, that wasn't cool. I ain't gonna put my hands on nobody. Somebody says it again, I'm gonna remove myself from the situation. The only circumstance in which I'm putting my hands on somebody else is if they put their hands on me or someone I care about. But words cannot hurt me, so why do I gotta hurt somebody over words? You get what I'm saying?
Because it's the respect thing.
Right.
If someone's gonna disrespect you, like say someone steps on your shoes and they don't apologize for it, well, you're not gonna do anything.
I mean, my shoes have been stepped on before without apology. And
That's
it's
the
like
thing.
sucks, but I'm not gonna beat somebody up over my shoes.
It's not about your shoes. It's about the respect.
Right.
Respect is earned. And it's like, and I have heard a president of a dominant club say they don't take shit from anybody. If someone's gonna come in and step on your shoes and not apologize for it, then stuff's gonna happen.
To me, the only reason to get into a physical altercation with somebody is if they do something physical to you. So like, I get the respect thing, right? I do understand that, but from my perspective, I'm like, I'm not about to risk my freedom, risk my whatever, or even risk my life, because you never know. These days, you don't know what people got on them, right?
That's the thing.
Hold on, wait. Give me 1 second. I'm not about to risk my freedom or my life to have a petty little altercation because somebody just disrespected me. Now, I feel like I agree with you that respect is earned, but you don't got to earn respect through intimidation. If somebody doesn't respect you, then maybe that's just somebody you don't need to be associating with, right? The people that are around me that I associate with, they all respect me because I give them mutual respect. Now, if somebody chooses to not respect me no more, then maybe I just don't need to be around that person. But that doesn't mean we need to get into a fight. You know what I'm saying?
That's not what I meant by respect is earned.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, you say that just because someone disrespects you with words doesn't mean you're not going to get it on with them because you don't want to go to jail or prison or die.
Right.
That's the thing. In that lifestyle, you don't care if you go to jail or prison or die because you die for that cut. You die for that vest.
So is this only something that you would employ in your life if you're in your motorcycle club? So like you wouldn't feel that way if it was just you. Like if it was just you going about your life, no motorcycle club, you would refrain from physical altercation.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's about the lifestyle that you choose. If you're in the motorcycle club lifestyle and someone disrespects you, your respect is everything.
Now, are you doing that alone, or are you doing that if you got your guys with you?
I'm doing that when I'm alone, when I've got my guys with me. If my cut is on, or if my tattoos are showing when I get them, and someone disrespects me, I'm not representing myself. I'm representing my club.
Okay.
And
okay, I can understand that kind of.
It's like saying if you at your work, right,
mm-hmm.
and you're wearing your work shirt,
mm-hmm.
and you post something on social media,
right,
and then it's controversial, and since you're wearing your work shirt, you're associated.
That makes sense.
So that's how it is with the club. If you're wearing any merchandise, any support gear, any soft colors of a club, and you do something, that reflects on the club. No matter if it's a good reflection or a bad reflection, it always reflects. If you're wearing something that it's affiliated with a club, then it reflects on that club.
Okay, I mean that makes sense, but I feel like that's where it kind of gets into the realm of like pride being kind of like poison. You know what I mean? Because like, in my opinion, too much pride can be a bad thing because you're allowing your pride to get you in trouble in the sense that if someone disrespects you, you immediately feel like because of the principle of it and because of the colors that you're wearing, that you have to prove yourself, right? And that all entangles into pride. Is like, that's why you feel like you have to prove yourself, because of pride. For me, I feel like I remove pride from the situation because I know for a fact that I can whoop anybody that comes across me, right? And I'm not saying that like, oh, there's no way I could ever lose a fight or whatever. I mean, of course, there's always going to be somebody bigger and badder than you. I'm not saying that I can beat up anybody. I know John Jones is going to whoop my butt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't coming at it like that, but I'm just saying, like, I don't start no trouble with nobody. I don't expect anybody to start no trouble with me. But I know that if it were to come down to it, I have what it takes to defend myself, and that's all that it matters to me. That's all that matters to me. I don't need to go out and prove it. You know what I'm saying? The only time that I would ever have to prove that I can defend myself is when I'm defending myself. Otherwise, I don't need to prove it, right? If I really want to prove that I can do some kind of combat, I do a sport. I do jiu-jitsu. I wrestled in high school. I did a tiny bit of boxing training, and the only reason I didn't continue is because it was so damn expensive. But, you know what I mean? Like, I like martial arts, but there's no part of me that seeks out, like, I need to prove to somebody right now, you know what I mean, that I can handle it. Because I just know deep down, I'm confident. I'm confident that if somebody were to try me right now, I can hold my own. Now, the thing that I fear the most, and we can get into this discussion too, maybe, if we got time, but the thing that I fear the most is someone having a weapon, right? Because, like, what if for a second I forget my morals? What if for 1 second, all it takes is 1 second, there's one split second that I forget everything that I just talked about to you, and I think to myself, I'm gonna lash out and I'm gonna fight this person just because I want to, just because, for the hell of it, just because I want to prove myself, right? And I forget all the stuff I just talked about. And in that 1 second, this is just happens to be a person that's gonna pull out a weapon. And then my life ends right there over that 1 second because I want to try to prove myself that I could beat somebody up. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that I fear. Now, if there was a situation where nobody has a weapon and it could just be a fair, even fight afterwards, after the fight's over, everybody can walk away, like, understanding that, okay, two men just had a battle and one person won, one person lost, and we walk away and we accept it. But people, even if they don't pull out the weapon right then and there, the fight ends, somebody walks over to their car and gets the weapon, comes back, bop, bop, bop. You know what I'm saying? It's like stuff like that.
That's the risk you take. In that lifestyle, that's the risk you take.
So that's why I wonder, is there any way in your mind to have that brotherly camaraderie that doesn't have to lead to violence?
Most of the time, it won't get to violence. It all depends on what you do as a club and what your choices you make as a club. For example, say if I'm in a club and you're in a club.
Okay.
And you have your girl, your old lady,
Mm-hmm.
and
she right behind the camera, by the way. But go ahead.
say if someone messed with your old lady, from a different old lady, not old, old.
Oh. Yeah, not old lady. Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Say if another member from a different club messed with your old lady, and my member knew that she had you as an old man. If he knew that
old man,
exactly. Say if he knew that was your old lady, then that club could have beef. The two clubs could have beef from that happening.
Well, how can he prove that he didn't know it?
That's the thing. You can't.
So I should just assume that he knew and go retaliate.
Because most of the time, in clubs, their women will have patches on them that says "property of." Now, say if you were in a club, and most clubs don't allow women as members,
but they'll allow them as property.
Because you don't know what it stands for. So, say if your nickname is Gio. Say if you were in a club, and your old lady would have a vest
that says "property of Gio," right?
Property of Gio, yes. Okay. And she wore that vest.
Mm-hmm.
That means he knew that she belonged to you.
Okay.
And he still did shit with her. that will cause problems with each club.
Okay.
And that could potentially start a war. Possibly.
Okay. I get it, but
For example,
wait, so hold up. What if what was I gonna say? Okay, I have a question. A little bit sidetracked, but if that happens, right? The guy messes with my lady, and I find out about it, and I feel like he knows that was my lady. Do motorcycle clubs pull up on other motorcycle clubs' clubhouse, or do you just have to catch them lacking in the street? Like, how does that work?
it could be both. You know,
But is it smart though, or do most of the time it's smarter to catch them in the street because you don't want to, like, 30 guys rolling out on you?
So I'm gonna tell you a story that pretty much everyone in the motorcycle club community knows.
Allegedly.
No, this actually happened.
Okay, go ahead.
So Outlaws Motorcycle Club and the Hells Angels, they were at war.
So now you're saying names.
because this. So what I'm telling this story, I'm
It's
telling
public
you
knowledge.
is public knowledge because
Okay, we're gonna say it's alleged anyway, just in case. It's alleged. This may or may not have happened.
because
Allegedly. Go ahead.
So in this story, don't quote me on it word for word.
Okay.
But the summary of it, this was told by an ex-Hells Angels member named George Christie. He was the president of the Ventura chapter for the Hells Angels back in the day. And he had a show on the History Network called Outlaw Chronicles Hells Angels. And so he was talking about the war with the Hells Angels and the Outlaws back in the day. In one of the episodes of the Outlaw Chronicles Hells Angels, he told a story that the Outlaws bombed one of the Hells Angels clubhouses
Okay.
with a grenade.
Okay.
So they pull it up on their clubhouse. So that could happen. Or they could find you in the street if they see you wearing your patches. They could also do that as well in the street.
Dang. All right. Now, do you think that, to an extent, there is a bit of understanding between, like, law enforcement and these clubs of kind of like, hey, if you keep your head low and just kind of like don't give us a hard time, we're not gonna bother you? Or do you think that it's like kind of an active thing where, like, these local police officers are doing everything they can to take down these clubs under the impression that they might be doing illegal activity?
Now, I'm not going to speak on police departments as a whole, but there could be some police officers that will do find anything to pull over a person wearing a cut on a motorcycle.
Oh, okay. Do you have to wear it if you're riding your motorcycle?
It all depends on the club's bylaws.
Okay.
When I start my club, my bylaws, if you're on your bike, then you're wearing your cut. If you're on your bike, you're wearing your cut.
Okay.
Now, there are some stipulations that you are good to not wear your cut. But I'm not going to get into that. That's my business. It's no one else's business unless
they're part of the club?
Exactly. It's no one's business but the club business.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. I think that might be really... I feel like you answered most of my questions, because I feel like... I mean, I agree with you on some points, like, or I wouldn't say agree, but you've made certain points make sense to me, like the whole, like the point about representing your club no matter where you go. Like, I do understand that, and I understand, like, if you choose that lifestyle, you don't want other clubs looking at you like you're weak, because then they might try to run all over you. So I get it. I do understand it. Just not something that I think I would want for my life.
Yeah.
But, it's not for everybody.
Exactly. Life's not for everyone. People that just there are some people that want to join a motorcycle club. Some people that don't know if they want to join a motorcycle club, and they do. Or people that just want to ride their bike, be free, and not worry about, oh, can I go to this area? Should I go to this area? Should I not go to this area? It's all what the person's perspective is and how they want to deal with things.
All right.
And there's riding clubs, there's law enforcement clubs, there's fire department clubs, there's military clubs, there's the HOG clubs, Harley owner group. They're basically a riding club. I don't consider them a motorcycle club. There's different groups like that all over.
Okay.
So it's really up to the person of what lifestyle they want to go into.
That makes sense. I think on that note, we should end it. I think we had quite a long conversation about motorcycle clubs. I think we had a good first episode.
Definitely.
That was great. Now we got to sit back and pick through it and edit it.
If there's any topics you guys would like us to discuss, leave it in the comments. It can be anything. It can be motorcycle club related. It can be video game related. Anything that you guys want us to talk about, leave in the comments.
And it's called Risky Diction for a reason, because we're going to get a little risky. Anyway, I appreciate y'all coming to the first episode. Like, subscribe, comment. Peace out.
Peace.
Heart has been racing, 180, leave you in the past, that's for sure.